What is going on, everybody? Of course, today is a very special day in the podcast world as we hear our little conglomerate here. Of course, No Bones, Flex Zone, Kicking It with Leo, and of course, Last Week in Wrestling podcast join together, band together to create their own fun little podcast called Who Booked This Shit? This whole entire podcast series from January to December is going to be solely focused on the pay-per-views for both WWE and AEW, each and every one that's going to happen. So, of course, since January starts off the pay-per-view season, that means that, of course, Rumble season is upon us, and it's only a few weeks away, which is crazy to even say. So tonight's episode is going to be all about how we would kind of book some of these storylines that are going into this main card, of course, into the Royal Rumble itself. So let's get to the amazing gang of characters here. None other, like I said prior, one half of the best couple podcasts out here on the game. Of course, we're talking about Asa, about No Bones, about wrestling. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing well. Glad to be here. Glad
Very
to be a part
excited.
of this. Yep.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have you. I love seeing your beautiful face and everything. I'm very excited to see you again this weekend. We have a very busy weekend. And of course, God said I got to make somebody the host of this heaven. And he picked a favorite of them all, none other than Big B himself, my guy, Byron. How are you from the Flex Zone?
Hey, it is good to see all of your beautiful faces one by one.
There you go. There you go. Well, maybe not so much everybody's because, of course, we got the mark of the WWE right here. One half of the Mark Squad, of course, the other one being Wolf. No, I love you so much, buddy. It's all good. Leo from Kicking It with Leo, of course, my main man, the man that has not missed a Last Week of Wrestling podcast episode since Tuesday. My guy, you're going 3-3 for right now. Will you make it to Sunday? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Well, there's a lot. There's a lot of content coming out. Of course, we got a lot to talk about, and of course, the whole rest of the week as planned. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, and as well as each and every one of these podcast live streams or anything that we do here is always presented by the Main Event Network, as well as your folks over at NordVPN. But we'll get to them a little bit later on into the show itself. But let's go, guys. The Royal Rumble. It is a pastime, generational feat of men and women now who go out there, 30 men, 30 women, to take on the best of the best to try to become the best of the best. And we have, of course, the big run coming up in just a few weeks being Royal Rumble 2024. And of course, there's been a lot of things that are circulating on the internet. There's been a lot of talks about leaked things like, of course, who's winning the men's, who's first runner-up, who's the women, who's the people that are showing up, people like X-Pac, Naomi, of course, Sasha Banks, maybe, what was it? Maybe the Boogeyman, a whole bunch of crazy list of character names, men and women that we have. But of course, we have some big championship matches as well. Roman Reigns now in a fatal four-way from just a one-on-one competition that he's so accustomed to, now into a fatal four-way match between Randy Orton, LA Knight, and AJ Styles, and including the tribal queef himself, Roman Reigns, is in action. Like I said, I'll never ever show that man any type of respect, unfortunately, because you know who my tribal chief is. That man's scarf's hanging right here, baby. All right. And of course, we also have the United States Championship as well being defended on the line with Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens one-on-one for the United States Championship, with, of course, other matches to come, like the Seth Rollins Impossible, Drew McIntyre, or maybe Jinder Mahal if things don't hinder Jinder come this Monday on Monday Night Raw. And, of course, maybe a women's championship match with Rhea Ripley. I know, like you all know, she is going to be main eventing Elimination Chamber next month over in her home country, Australia. Perth, Australia. So we'll talk about that when that gets a little closer. But guys, let's get right into it. How do we feel, all honesty, with the card in itself, with the matches that are 100% confirmed, being that Fatal 4-Way, being that United States Championship, and then, of course, the classic of classic, Royal Rumble, men and women. Asa, we'll start with you, buddy. How do you feel about this year's Royal Rumble going forward into everything that we know already is confirmed?
I'm just sort of like, whatever. Because I mean, the Roman match, Roman's keeping it.
Right.
Who cares? Logan Paul, who cares? I mean, like, Logan Paul's keeping it. And then the women's Royal Rumble, I've said it before. I love women's wrestling, but the women's Royal Rumble is about one of the biggest wastes of time in the wrestling year.
This is a great episode already.
It's one of the worst displays of wrestling that comes around every year. Just like a lot of punching and kicking and time filling.
Yeah.
And I hate that that's true, but that's the truth, man. The men's Royal Rumble, I'm looking forward to that. But just that. So overall, not so much, man.
What would you rate this right now out of 5 with the card that we have ahead of us?
2.
Damn. No love for this year's Royal Rumble from Asa.
Not yet.
No bones.
Not yet.
Not yet. Maybe there could be things that we could even say that changes or hinders the Royal Rumble card come this month. But of course, Byron, what are your quick thoughts, of course, for this year's Royal Rumble?
The undercard matches usually on the Rumble don't matter. And I think I agree with Ace on that point. I think what they did with the Roman match is to add a little bit of unpredictability. Like I said yesterday, just be weary of where that match is placed. If it is the main event, I do expect The Rock to show up. If it's not the main event, then it'll probably open the show. Logan Paul and Kevin Owens, I think, will be a good match, but we know Logan Paul's not losing that title till at least WrestleMania. And that kind of has me wondering, okay, what are we doing with Kevin Owens heading to WrestleMania? The Women's Rumble and the Men's Rumble, I think, are probably the most unpredictable they've been in years. There's a list, especially on the men's side, of at least probably 10 guys you could say have a legit story to win the Royal Rumble. I mean, whether it's Punk, whether it's Cody, whether it's Drew McIntyre, you want to throw in Solo, you want to throw in Jey Uso, who even said he wants championship gold. I mean, you still got Gunther there. There's a lot of stories in the Men's Rumble, and I think this could be one of the better Rumbles we've seen as of late. I just don't like the fluff in all the Rumbles. I don't want to see tag teams. I don't want to see Angelo Dawkins. I don't want to see freaking AOP in the Royal Rumble. No, we know they're not winning. I don't want to see Ashante Adonis in the Rumble. I want to see people that we know are legit main eventers who we know have a legit shot to win. And I don't want to see Cody come out at 30. Okay, let's stop with number 30 winning. It's so stupid. But yeah, I do think the card looks okay so far. I mean, I would like to see maybe another match added. Like I said, I wonder what they're going to do with the World Heavyweight Championship match. So don't be surprised if we get an attempted cash in on Monday. But I guess out of 5, I'm about a 2.5 right now, just because the card is still being flushed out.
Understandable. I can't believe you dissed the Soup Profits. That's Ace's favorite tag team.
Come on, we all know they're winning the damn Rumble. That's like putting freaking what did they have? They just put geeks in there sometimes. Like, oh, I'm just gonna come out the crowd and jump in the Rumble, but we're not gonna win.
Asa absolutely hates the Soup Profits. He hates the Soup Profits. Every time the Soup Profits come on, I look at Asa and I'm just like, I can't wait for him to say something about the Soup Profits. It's so bad. It's so bad, but it's so fun. Of course, my man Leo, who is 3 for 3 right now over here on the pod. My guy. We've talked about the Indies. We've talked about TNA. Now it's time to talk about WWE. How are we feeling with this year's Royal Rumble going into it being the first pay-per-view of the year? Not the best one, I think, but because we got TNA this Saturday. But we also have the Royal Rumble this month as well. So we shall see. What do we? What are our thoughts?
I mean, I look at the card like currently, and like a few like the matches I feel like are predictable. We know Roman's not gonna lose that title. Logan Paul is going to retain. So it feels like a lot of them are shaping up to be just predictable. And I think that's my problem with a lot of things that happen in wrestling where there is no unpredictability. I feel like there should be more unpredictability in wrestling. Like we go into these shows with this expectation, like we know what's going to happen. I want to see more shocking things happen, things that we wouldn't expect to happen. And, when we have the Rumble for the men's and women, I feel like there are numerous people that can win. If you look at the men's, you have people like a LA Knight, you have people like a Jey Uso, you have a Cody Rhodes, you have CM Punks, you have those different types of guys who have legitimate chances of winning. If you look at the women, it's always the same thing with the women. It's like, there's so many people that they can go with depending on what story they want to tell. You have Becky in the match. You have Jade if they want to make a big splash with her. You have a returning Liv Morgan, possibly. You just AJ Lee even. You have different people that could definitely make some noise in the Rumble, but it's really going to show it's like who do they really go with and who, has the best chance of winning and who would be the biggest draw depending on the Mania match that they decide to book for these women or men. But I feel like the current card as it is right now, I mean, I can't give it a high rating, but I don't want to give it a low rating either. So I'm going to just meet everybody in the middle, probably give it a 3.
That's not meeting us at the middle because I'm at a fucking 1. I'm at a solid numero uno on this card, but I quickly want to just say hello to everybody in the chat. Eric, Khan, of course, 202 Degree, Wrestling with Bros, Big Baby Ben, and everybody else that's joining us live. But look, the men's Rumble and the women's Rumble, I think that's the staple that we put a lot more of our eggs into the basket for when it comes to this pay-per-view as a whole. Just kind of like that elimination chamber for the men's and women. And because I say that is the fact that we have more of a journey into a different career path for a lot of either up-and-coming talent, unreally given chance men or women that haven't been on TV, more screen time that they have seen prior, or just different story beats and brand new people to work with that could create very interesting long-term feuds that could boil out into something like a WrestleMania. But again, whether it's the men, whether it's the women, it all depends on how, kind of like what Byron said, they come out. Nobody really wants to see their top guys come out at 30. Like Cody doesn't need to win it if he's 30 with like 7-8 people there. That's very predictable. Punk doesn't need to come out number 1 and stay 29 like Rhea Ripley did. Doing those type of things for the women is a little bit more acceptable because when Rhea won, that was a lot more exciting because there was a lot more of hope behind Rhea when doing something like that. And of course, we saw that excellent match with her and Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania that kind of pulled off the whole entire song. So I think that that's more acceptable for the women's division. But like all of you said, the men's division does have a lot of people that could win it. There's a lot of people that we might not even expect to win, but could win. People like a Jey Uso, people like a Chad Gable, people like an Otis. All right, maybe I'm kidding with Otis, but like there is a lot more people. There's a lot more people that we could see come out. Even surprises that we love to see return back. Seeing Booker T come back, even if it was for that 5 minutes, doing that spin-a-rooney, that was fun for me. I enjoyed that. Seeing Carlito come back, it's always fun to see your favorites come back, even if it is for a brief 5 minutes. But if it's done poorly, it does affect the Rumble, again, in my opinion, poorly as a whole, especially if there's a lot more writing on the line. And with, of course, Punk's return and Cody still struggling to finish that last page like Floyd Money Mayweather with the 50 cent bet, trying to finish a Harry Potter book. Listen, he's struggling, and it's just something that we have to really hope is executed poorly. 202 Degree, I see what you're saying, and I'm gonna be bringing that up in a second. But Yeah, to me, I hope that it's executed properly. I hope whoever does show up, surprises or not, it is something that we could see. Mercedes Monet is what 202 is saying. Maybe Sasha and Trinity at the same time. Possibly even just Naomi coming back, Liv winning the Rumble. It could all be that for them. I think Raquel, though, is out for an extended period amount of time because of her illness that she's battling.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Nia Jax because you're also saying not Nia Jax because nobody wants Nia Jax.
No.
Sorry, but
No.
not sorry. Yeah. So but we'll definitely get more into that topic of discussion of the Rumble itself in a little bit. Let's get to one match that I think does have some type of interesting potential and starting power for, of course, this new, hopefully restarted division for the United States Championship. We'll start with you, Leo. Logan Paul, Kevin Owens battling it out. The tournament, of course, Santos and Kevin were the last two of the tournament. And now it is Kevin v. Logan. And this seems to be maybe that restart button that we're hoping for. Business wise, Logan Paul was the safer bet to have win because, of course, his podcast, it has millions of views and following. Business wise, it made sense. But now I feel with 2024, Triple H more in control. Maybe it's time that Logan Paul takes that step back as a champion and lets somebody else start running the game again. How do you feel about all of that?
I mean, I definitely agree with that. I feel like, Logan Paul, I think when you look at him, no matter how you feel about him, he does draw ratings. I do think, when him with the following that he brings in his social media presence, he brings a lot to the business, more eyes on the product overall. And with him being the championship, it makes it even better. I think the thing is, when you look at the feud that we're seeing between Kevin Owens and Logan, yes, the match is going to be good, but at the same time, we know what the end goal is, so it kind of makes it less likely that they're going to pull the trigger. And for a fan that's watching, they might not want to get invested just because we know what the end goal is. And I think another thing that kind of I look at the feud is the championship. I feel like when was the last time we seen the U.S. Championship have emphasis? When was the last time we seen the U.S. Championship be treated important? We've seen what Gunther has done with the Intercontinental Championship, and I feel like we are just waiting for someone to come along to potentially do the same for the U.S. Championship. Because if we're being honest, the last time I think of that championship being in a prominent role and treated like it was actually important was when John Cena was holding in 2015, and that was pretty much it. Ever since then, yes, we've seen different champions come along throughout the years, but none has elevated that championship to the next level like a John Cena has. So, I mean, at first I was thinking maybe we could have potentially got that happening with like a Logan Paul, but as of right now, I'm not really seeing it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a hard one because we of course had this United States Championship last year in a lot of hot potato situation with a lot of different champions. Of course, Austin Theory being the one that really held on to it for a certain amount of time. There was hope. There was hope that maybe Austin Theory last year was going to be a hot United States champion to really go out there and make this division matter again, make this belt with such prestige and lineage matter again. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. And then, of course, we had that John Cena moment. So that didn't help him at all in the slightest. But let's go over to Byron now. My guy, what are we thinking? Like, do we think that this is that restart button for the United States Championship division? Or do we feel like we still are almost like Leo was saying in this waiting game? And of course, 202, we're going to be talking about that Nia Jax and Jade Cargill situation in a little bit. So don't think I don't see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, buddy. But Byron, the floor is yours. Talk to me.
Yeah, I think Logan Paul is actually the greatest celebrity wrestler we've ever seen. I don't think it's really close. He's fantastic. I mean, as good as he is with his podcast, he's fantastic in the ring. I didn't know he was going to be this good. He has been way better than I expected. But I think the problem that SmackDown suffers with is that both of their champions are part-timers, Roman and Logan Paul. And I believe this is Logan's first title defense, and he won it in November. So this is
Yeah.
So I mean, clearly we see what's going to happen, but obviously he'll be at the Rumble, he'll be at Elimination Chamber, he'll be at Mania, so he'll have some defenses coming up. But you throw Kevin Owens to him. Kevin Owens is going to do the job, but we know Logan Paul is going to cheat to win, much like we know Roman is going to probably cheat to win his match. So,
Yeah.
like Leo said, it is kind of predictable, but the United States Championship has more eyes on it than it's probably ever had before. So, whoever takes it off of Logan will only be the beneficiary of that as well. So, it's kind of what it's all about.
Absolutely. And just like 202 said, Logan Paul does have more ability than Grayson Waller. Listen, if Wolf was here, we'd be having a very long-winded conversation about the differences. And he would definitely bring up some really good points. No, there's no shot to him at all. And I know that he would bring up some very good points about Grayson Waller and his career that he had in NXT. But it is a different game now that we are playing. We're playing in the major leagues now with Grayson. And Grayson at the moment right now hasn't really done enough, at least in my eyes, to show that championship potential that Austin Theory is trying to come back from right now. And if we see this possibility of Logan being the champion that starts really taking control and really directing the new narrative for 2024's United States division, taking on new competitors, really putting over some new stars, then I think we're in the right hands still going forward. And of course, hello from Vancouver. What's going on? Thank you so much for joining us, of course. But Asa, round it off for me, man. How are we feeling about Logan Paul? Another part-timer with a belt. And do we think that this is that time for the reset?
Yeah, well, personally, how I feel about Logan Paul, I think he's a douchebag, and I'm sick of looking at him.
There it is.
But of course, I mean, he's a skilled wrestler.
Means he's doing his job.
Yeah, but I said that's personally. But he's a skilled wrestler. Does he deserve the title? No way. The title that like Bret Hart and Roddy Piper and Ric Flair have held. No,
Eddie
no
Guerrero,
way.
Shawn Michaels. Yeah,
right.
I mean,
No
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
But kind of like Byron said, him having it does at least put more eyes on the next guy who has it, which is a good thing. The good thing to come out of all this is he might help make a legitimate wrestler a bigger star. So that's a good thing. And I had another thought and I lost it.
I'm going to come back to you.
Yeah, come back to me.
All right, I'll come back to you. Don't worry. We're going to talk about this a little bit longer, so that way we get Ace's final thought on that. But like he was saying, like we've all been saying, Logan Paul, look, it's a business decision at the end of the day for WWE to sometimes place these champions as champions, whether we like it or not. It's not what it used to be anymore. We don't have full-time wrestlers like it once was. It's not Eddie Guerrero's era anymore. It's not the Attitude Era. It's not the Ruthless Aggression era. It's not the early 2010s. It's not the 2010s era where we're having full-time wrestlers. There is a lot more celebrities coming into the fold, which this business was built upon as well. Look at WrestleMania 1. Look at WrestleMania 2 and all the other big staples that have happened. Look at the fact that Mike Tyson was a referee between Steve Austin and DX. And of course, he changed teams after the match. Like it all of these things factor into it. And now we're at a point where the United States division as a whole needs this push button restart, in my opinion. And I keep saying it, but it's really, really true because we haven't had a consistency of improvement with a concurrent title holder for the U.S. belt. There hasn't really been one in a moment. Do you remember your thought now?
Yeah.
All right, bro. Going back to you now.
So, yeah, that's what I was going to say was, we're talking about part-time champions. So on SmackDown, we have 2 part-time champions. We have Roman Reigns with the big belts, and now we have Logan Paul with the U.S. belt,
Right.
which, is a problem because now it leaves a lot of guys kind of rudderless, kind of looking
Good word.
for, what are we fighting for? If they're not directly in a feud, what am I fighting for? What am I trying to make my way up this ladder towards? And even if you can say, oh, I'm trying to make my way up towards the U.S. title, if the U.S. champion isn't on television, it's harder to hammer home that you're trying to fight for that belt when the champion's not on TV to remind you that, oh, he's this bad guy and you want him to lose the belt.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? It's harder to remind you that you do want him to lose the belt to this good guy, whoever it is, say, Dragon Lee or whoever, which is who I would give it to down the line personally. Just not having those guys on TV makes it harder for guys to get over that need to get over.
Yeah. No, and that, again, that hammers in that point of, I feel like, or at least I should say, I hope come this year we start seeing that shift of part-timers not holding belts with Matter, and they just hold a different standard that matters but isn't a big deal if they're not around. If they can't beat this celebrity that's beaten all these other greats in his reign, then fine. I'd rather see something of that long term than seeing a champion who's not around, not defending it, not talking about it, not making Seth Rollins statements, not making the Samoa Joe promos, not making those memorable back-to-back weekly episodic TV shows that you have to tune into. I remember, I know Asa remembers and Byron remembers when, there was a champion, they came out, they started the fucking show, whether it was Raw, whether it was SmackDown. And of course, they came out there, they talked their shit. If they were a heel, if they were a good guy, if they were a baby face, then they were just doing their thing. They were saying thank you to everybody. But then, of course, somebody would rain on their parade. That next challenger would rain on their parade, and there'd be a feud that would start brewing and start leading into another big match that would come, of course, at another pay-per-view, whether it was an A pay-per-view like a Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, Money in the Bank, or B pay-per-view like a Bad Blood, Cyber Sunday, or anything like that. No Mercy. That's where I feel we need to start getting back into that groove again, because now we're coming into this era of it's cool to have these part-timers on one show and overwork our actual champions and have them run through the cards very quickly, like a Gunther and like a Seth Rollins. Seth has defended his belt every single week and every single month on a pay-per-view. He has made his presence known. He is the world heavyweight champion. Same with Gunther. He is the Intercontinental champion. Whether you've fought him once, twice, 5 times, he has proven he is the Intercontinental champion. And then you go to SmackDown, and it's like the Vacation Boys. They're just hanging out. They're hanging out at Barbados and the Bahamas. And they're like, oh, I got to come to work this week? I'm not. And it's like, we'll come back after the Fast and Furious movie 20 finishes shooting, and I can come back. Like, that's where we're at now, where it's this 50-50 divide in championship holdings that I hope starts to change over time, because I want a consistency. I feel like we are, as fans, as viewers, as people that buy and watch this product and go to this show, we are owed that in a sense. I don't want to use that as the terminology, but I feel like at this stage of the game, we're now past that part-time stage, and now it's time to get back into the swing of things, get back to the meat and potatoes of what the WWE was based upon and how these title lineages are supposed to go. So hopefully, like I said, this is that restart button for Logan Paul and Kevin Owens and this United States division. But let's put that aside. Let's now book it ourselves a little bit here. Who would we actually have defending or actually going for the United States Championship. Asa, we'll start with you, buddy. Of course, we're gonna play a little game quick. So this is kind of how the show is going to work. We're going to, of course, talk about every match like we just did, and then every single match, including the Royal Rumbles, we're going to kind of book the way we would book. No, we're not going to name 60 men and women, Joe, that everybody gets their name in there. No, that's just crazy. We'll be here for fucking 7 hours. No. So what we're going to do is something a little more fun. And of course, you guys are more than welcome to be involved as we do this. But right now, we have the opportunity to keep who we have, right? Kevin Owens, Logan Paul as the competitors. You can change the competitors and the challenger. You can also put the title up for grabs if you want. So there is no holder of the belt. And you can pick two people and explain why you'd pick those two people, and kind of so on and so forth. Okay? Does everybody understand that? I think it's a little more fun this way. And of course, everybody at home, that we could do this as well. Like, you could keep who you have, you could change the challenger, or you could change both people as well and have the title up for grabs to become the new United States champion. So Asa, buddy, we'll start with you. Are we keeping, changing the challenger, or changing the whole scenario?
I'll change the whole scenario and
Alrighty. And
get
what are we
Logan
doing?
Paul, get Logan Paul out of there. And I think a more interesting match would be Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar.
Okay.
I say, let those two go in there and just lucha it up and have a great match. And I think we'd end up with something more interesting than Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens. That's for sure.
Okay. Are we locking in that as the answer?
For me, yeah. Rey
Okay,
Mysterio and Santos Escobar, yep.
Santos Escobar, Rey Mysterio to become the new United States champion, one-on-one action. Byron, are we keeping, changing the challenger, or changing the scenario?
Well, to Ace's point, you're going to get Santos and Ray at WrestleMania, so don't worry. And don't be surprised if Ray throws Santos out of the Rumble as a surprise. Just a little tease. But anyway.
He's reading the papers. He's reading the papers.
The match is fine. I just find it ironic that, they did a U.S. title tournament right after AEW announced their little Continental Classic. That was pretty funny. But
where's Eric Bischoff's tweet? You know what I mean? Where's the clown tweet? Where's the clown tweet?
I like Logan Paul and Kevin Owens, but it's not really any heat to it. It's not really nothing to sink my teeth into, because Kevin Owens is so good. You need to let him and Logan really go out there and just really sell us on this match, because Kevin Owens, like Asa said, needs to cut a promo. I don't want guys like you to have this belt. You are a prick. You have stolen people's money. You have married a girl who's been ran through by 50 of her homeboy.
Wow.
Really cut him deep. That's what the internet says, okay? I don't know.
That's what the internet says. So.
Really let these guys go out there, and let's get rid of these PG promos and really let these guys go at it and really sell me on why I should care about this match in the Royal Rumble, because it's an undercard match. Most of us will probably forget about it once it's over. But these are two good competitors, so I'm gonna let it play out. But I do want to see some actual heat to it.
Who do you have then winning the match since you're keeping?
I'm keeping it on Logan Paul, but obviously some sort of nefarious means. I don't know how you do it. We'll probably get to that in the next episode, so give me some time. But Logan Paul's keeping that title right now. I'm sure he's got it on his podcast every week. I don't watch it, but I'm sure he does.
I bet you he does too. The Mark himself, Leo, my guy, are we keeping, changing the challenger, or changing the scenario?
I say keep it. I really say keep it, because I feel like we may need to see a little bit more from them as far as what they can do. Maybe amp it up a little bit to get people more intrigued, to make it more tense. But yeah, I would say keep it.
Okay. Alrighty. I like that. I'm not going to play since I'm the host of today's episode. Only because I want to hear from you guys, and of course I want to hear from all the fans as well. So we'll let the fans kind of tell their version right now. Of course, the rules are you can either keep the two people that are happening, Logan Paul v. Kevin Owens. You can change the challenger, keeping the champion Logan Paul versus somebody else if you don't like the challenger. Or you could change the whole scenario by dethroning Logan Paul, taking the title away, and putting two brand new competitors in there for the opportunity to start off the new year as the brand new United States champion. Ace is selected to change it to Rey and Santos, God's favorite. And of course, Leo decided to keep it the way it is with Logan Paul winning for Byron. Who did you say you were going to win?
Logan Paul. Logan
You
Paul
had
keeps
Logan
the
Paul,
domain.
Leo. Who did you have?
Logan.
Logan as well. Okay, so that's going to be that one. We're going to also, I want to let everybody know now that next time that we do the next episode will be on the week of the Royal Rumble, where all of these selections that we make final decisions upon, which is the week of the Rumble, are going to be polls on Twitter that you all can be a part of and vote upon. And as we do the live stream, whether it's on the collab between me and Byron in the Flex Zone, or if it's two set streams, whatever it is, Byron will be able to look at the polls and pull them up. I will be able to look at the polls and pull them up and be able to talk about everything. So that way people know what is going on. And of course, you all can be a part of it. Make sure you check out all of our Twitter links and stuff like that. And of course, all the links down below. I know the YouTube has that about where you can click the link trees. So definitely make sure you can go ahead and get onto Twitter, because these polls are going to happen more frequently for every single one of these pay-per-views, whether it's WWE or AEW. Now, with that being said, let's get to the final championship match. As of now, of course, things are cards change, subject to change. As we inch closer to the Royal Rumble, we might get a heavyweight title match with, of course, Seth Rollins versus somebody. Right now, predictions are it is going to be Drew McIntyre again. But for now, we're going to have a fatal four-way between Roman Reigns, LA Knight, Randy Orton, and, of course, AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. Leo, we'll start with you with this one. How do we feel? I know we kind of just talked about the part-timers and everything, so I don't think we need to really repeat ourselves with all of that. But how do you feel going into this, knowing that now it's a fatal four-way with all of the other outcomes with Roman, how they've been?
I mean, it's something different because we mainly see him be in one-on-one matches. So I'm at least happy that they're doing something different. I know reports were saying that the reason why they changed it to a fatal four because they didn't want Randy to lose his first match on his return, which is understandable, because why would you want him to lose when he came back and right now he's one of the most over in the company right now, especially on SmackDown for sure. So now you have a situation where you're putting, the best four guys that you can possibly have on SmackDown, having them go at it because each one of them have history and want to get revenge on Roman Reigns, because you have, LA Knight wanted revenge from what happened at Crown Jewel being screwed out. You have Randy coming back and now want revenge for being taken out by him in the bloodline. You have literally AJ, who was taken about the bloodline, and pretty much I was thinking this was going to be a one-on-one match between AJ and Roman going into the Rumble before everything took place. But now each one of them have a logical reason to want to face Roman, and each one of them, even though they're not going to win, but each one of them have a strong case to win the championship.
Understandable. I like that. I like that as an answer. Byron, it's up to you now. Fatal four-way, Randy, AJ, LA Knight, and of course, the tribal queen himself, Rachel Reigns.
I mean, the Fatal Four is cool. It's Roman's first multi-man match since WrestleMania 37 against Edge and Daniel Bryan. So that lets you know how long ago that was. I don't really care because it's unpredictable, but it's unpredictably predictable. We know Roman's winning. Question is, how is he going to win? I'm sure we'll get to that the next episode, but I just feel like they're going to probably make LA Knight take the pin, which if you do that, you kind of kill his momentum because you already lost to Roman when he probably shouldn't have got a title shot one-on-one yet. Maybe you could have did that one-on-one match at the Rumble now, but it's a means to an end. I mean, I would have just at this rate you could just went like Leo said, either did Roman and AJ or Roman and Randy. I mean, WWE does it all the time. They bring people back and they lose their first match. Just kind of how they do things. It is what it is. But Randy's kind of bulletproof, so if he does lose, it doesn't really hurt his momentum. But Fatal 4-Way does make it a little more predictable, and Roman doesn't have to do a lot of work at the same time. You got workhorses in there like AJ, like LA Knight. Randy can work. So I'm sure Roman will probably somehow get knocked out in the match and sit on the sideline for 10 minutes. But it is unpredictably predictable. We know Roman's going to win. Like I said, if it is the main event, I do think we get some appearances from The Rock. But it is what it is at this point. I mean, Roman's beat them all. It's really not anything different that we can really see that hasn't happened already.
Understandable. I like that. I like that. Asa, to round us off, how we feeling?
As far as what's actually going to happen,
Yeah, like what is your take on this whole Roman Fatal 4-Way and everything?
yeah, I mean, kind of echoing what the other two guys have said so far. Pretty predictable. Roman's gonna keep the belt. As far as who's gonna take the pin, you almost hate to say LA Knight because that seems obvious. I think it'll either be LA Knight or AJ. But yeah, Roman, no doubt, will keep the belt. And like Byron said, I think we may see The Rock show up at the Rumble, during this match. My bet would almost go on we do see The Rock show up.
It is in Florida.
To kind of build things up a little. I feel like we do because I don't think we're going to see him at Elimination Chamber. I think the odds are really low on that. So I think that'll be the highlight of this match, actually, is The Rock showing up, which tells you how good the match is going to be.
Damn. All righty. Well, we'll stick with you. Are we keeping it, changing the challenger, or changing scenario?
Keep it.
Really?
Yeah, just keep it.
Just keep it. Okay.
Well,
Is there a reason for that, or just?
Yeah, but it's going to give away what I would want to do at WrestleMania. So.
Okay. All right. Well,
hold
off.
I don't want to give away what I'm doing at WrestleMania.
All right. Sounds good. We'll hopefully we'll hear some of that maybe the next episode and everything. Big B, what are we thinking?
I just got to throw a logic question in there. If these other three men outside of Roman are in this match, will they also be in the Rumble? Or how is that going to work? Are they going to come out in the Rumble, then go to the main event and go in this match all sweaty already? I'm just throwing that out there. Just little things I look at when I watch these shows that people don't think about. But I guess maybe because if you don't have all three of them in there, that's three big names not in the Royal Rumble, and you could see LA Knight as a Final Four competitor. I don't know. We'll see what they do. Maybe the men's Rumble starts the show. Who knows? We could do something different this year. But I would keep it just because it makes sense because it's stupid because why would Roman interfere in the triple threat? Because all it's going to do is make it a fatal 4-way. Dickhead, if you just let them fight, you're going to have a one-on-one match. But like I said, I think about these things sometimes when people are asleep, just random illogical things in wrestling. But anyway, I would keep it because we don't see fatal 4-ways in WWE like that. I think the last fatal 4-way I actually cared about a little bit was the Roman, Brock, Samoa Joe. Was that Braun Strowman? I think.
Yeah, SummerSlam 2017.
Yeah, that was a pretty good fatal 4-way. So I think, like I said, I think this match will be okay. I think we'll get a spot where Roman is like written out of the match, and then he'll be on the sideline for like 10 minutes, kissing his wife or something, and then he'll come back and probably spear people and do what he does. But I'd keep it.
Damn. I mean, all right. I like that as well. Leo, keeping it, changing challengers, or changing scenario?
I'm going to say change the scenario.
Ooh.
Here's why. The reason why, because what's Roman's always saying? He's always saying he's above everybody. He's better than everybody. Well, what better way to prove it than him putting that championship on the line in the Royal Rumble match? He is defending that title against 29 other competitors who are going to be gunning to take him down and take the championship. One way you can accomplish this, he's not getting pinned, so you can still keep him looking strong because he just got thrown over the top rope. That ain't a big deal. Yeah, he lose the championship, but he didn't get pinned, so his mystique is still there. But you could create some more intrigue going into WrestleMania, because if he does lose it, whoever he loses it to, and then you also got to think about The Rock. He could distract him, allowing him to get thrown over the top rope, whatever. And pretty much if that does happen, that's going to happen towards the end of the Rumble anyway. But I'm going to say he defends it inside the Royal Rumble match itself. And he has to come out at number 1.
Damn. I like that one. I think that's my favorite one so far. That's a pretty good stipulation.
That was
right
a nice
there.
little 2016 callback, I think. With
Exactly. And he didn't win. So, hey.
I said do that last year when he had 2 titles and he was walking around with one he didn't defend. Yeah, but
Oh,
I like
Listen,
it.
I
I like it, Lee.
think that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good
Even though
one.
Roman's not wrestling more than 30 minutes, so he's not coming out of the
Right.
door.
Yeah, no, he's too tired. He's too
Exactly.
tired from holding nothing. All right. So now it's time for the men's and the women's Royal Rumble. Do we want to do the men's, or do we want to do the women's first?
I mean, if we're being honest, the way they do it, they usually start with, I mean, they did start with the men's last year, did the women's later. So maybe we start with the women's. It's up to y'all, really.
Is everybody
start
cool
with
with
the
starting
women's,
with the
yeah.
women's?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Asa, cool with starting with the women's Rumble?
Sure.
Get it out of the way, because I know this topic's gonna probably put you to sleep.
Sure.
I'm trying to look at the stat to see if there's been some, I'm looking at the stat to see if there's some entrant numbers that haven't been won from yet.
All right. Well, while he's doing all of that, we of course have the women's 30-woman Royal Rumble coming up, and of course, one of the biggest names, as we talk about this briefly, Jade Cargill. Now, Jade has been a part of WWE since last year and has showed up on a few pay-per-views, and of course, all 3 big AAA promotions being Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. But since then, not really been doing much. And of course, there was a little bit of a back and forth, I guess you could say, between Papa H and Jade Cargill about how he believes she's not ready for in-ring capability. She replies with, I am ready for in-ring capability. Alex already giving us a pic of Liv Morgan. 202, I hope you're still around, because, buddy, we're going to be talking about now the Women's Rumble. So as we go back to that, there's a lot of other people that we could see come in, as well as Naomi, God's future wife, of course, Mercedes Moné, and possibly a couple of big old-time legendary women, maybe a Trish Stratus, maybe a Lita, maybe a Michelle McCool, possibly a Maria Canella. I know, but I believe she's what, an AEW now, right? Maria Canella?
Yeah,
with
she's in Ring of Honor.
She's in Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor. Okay,
Yeah.
so she's out. But maybe some other names. Maybe we'll get Vivian Garcia or Lillian Garcia coming in there just for shits and giggles. Why? Listen, this is WWE. Anything's possible. So yeah, let's talk about, of course, another big name being Liv Morgan, because Liv Morgan, of course, unfortunately had to deal with the Popo recently about this whole marijuana situation, which she was found not guilty for, with the big charge, of course, the felony charge with the cannabinoid synthetic marijuana that was not found to be hers because they didn't have the proper equipment to test the actual thing. So because of that, it was dropped. But now she does have one more thing that she has to fight off. If she fights that off, then she's all in the clear. Otherwise, she still could face jail time, but I don't believe it's for a long time. It is possible that there could be jail time for Liv Morgan. But let's say all hope prevails and Liv Morgan doesn't see anything behind bars and she shows up at the Rumble. Alex has said it. 202 has said it. Of course, a whole bunch of others have said it. Liv Morgan Gier, it is time for her to win the Rumble. We'll start with Asa for this one. Asa, of course, after everything that has happened with Liv and Jade and everybody else in between, do you believe that one of these big names could really start showcasing their star potential? And if so, who at this year's Women's 2024 Royal Rumble?
Yeah, I think so. And honestly, I think I just feel like it'll be Jade Cargill. I feel like it's the right time to bring her in. I feel like she needs to come in with a bang, and what bigger bang is there than winning the Royal Rumble and maybe walking away with one of the women's titles at WrestleMania? Of course, you could bring her in any other time with a high-level feud for one of the women's titles, but there's just something about coming in and throwing other ladies over the ropes and then, having your hand raised for the Royal Rumble. That's a big thing. It's like the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. So that'd be a big way to come in for her, and I think it's the time. As long as I don't know what Triple H would know about being ready to wrestle. He had like 6 moves his whole career, but I think Jade Cargill. I think she's ready. Yeah, bring her in.
But he's the game, and you don't want to play him.
He's not.
He's
I
in
never
control.
wanted to play him. He had some of the most boring fucking main event matches, man. His whole career.
You would not say the Royal Rumble 2000 between him and Mick Foley in a Hell in a Cell is a good classic match?
I'm not talking about that match. I'm talking about like every other match of his career, basically.
No. There's definitely an argument to be made about Triple H's career. Maybe we'll make
that reign of terror was bad. That was bad.
Oh yeah, he should have lost to Booker T. Honestly, like he should have lost.
Yeah,
like if he was they went the race card, they should have had him win.
I think the Booker T match there's definitely argument to be made there. But I would say Triple H had a very promising late 90s, early 2000s reign that was very exciting. He was one of my top 5 because of that reign. Yeah. Listen, listen, if we have time, maybe we'll pick certain wrestlers throughout the year to talk about and have great conversations about. Listen, we might do it. We'll see what happens if we have the time. But Triple H will definitely be on that fucking one to debate or not to debate. Absolutely. But okay, fair enough. I do respect it. I do respect the opinion. And yeah, I too also could see where you're coming from with that as well with Jade. Look, and I think we've said it countless times. We've been echoing it since 2023. Jade is a superstar. She's a diamond in the rough. This is a perfect place for her to be. Now it's her time to shine. It's just a matter of how, who, and when. I think those 3 are the most important questions for her going into 2024. How are we going to show her off? When are we going to pull the trigger? And who are we going to go against? Because I feel like all of that is definitely going to make a big name for her in the near future going forward. Because again, we have a lot on the table with Jade and a lot of great potential matches with Jade and even pay-per-view feuds and memories with Jade that we could definitely see going forward. Her reign as a TBS champion wasn't maybe the highlight of AEW because of the lack of a women's division at the time. I feel like now we're getting into a nice different stage of the women's division with Tony Khan, as long as he stays off Twitter. But again, we have, of course, women that are there that have been veterans, that have been worked over by other great legendary veterans that now have a talent and ability to learn and teach others, one being Jade in particular. She also has a brand new set of newcomers from NXT that are eagerly waiting to come up to that main roster, as well as women that are just hanging out in the background, like a Candice Michelle and Machin, and of course an Indy Hartwell waiting for their time to shine as well. So there's definitely a lot of potential with Jade, but we'll go to you, Byron, now, my guy. How do we feel about the Women's Rumble? And of course, Jade Cargill, Liv Morgan, talk to me. Do we think this is Jade's time to shine finally? And do we think that Liv, Leo, just calm down, but Liv could really pull the trigger here and shoot for the stars?
I'm gonna keep it short because I know Leo is bursting at the seams to talk about
First,
Liv.
change hands
Um,
twice before this conversation started.
I will just say that I think Jade should be the first woman you see at the Royal Rumble. You give her that grand entrance, you give her that superstar WWE treatment that they're going to do. You give her the Cody Rhodes ascending from the depths of the bottom of the ramp and smoke and the music, and allow her to flex and show how great she is and how good she looks and how she's a superstar. And then I think you have her be the Iron Woman with the most eliminations. She doesn't win the Rumble, but she probably makes it to that final 4, 5 bit of women. You show her off first. You maybe put her in there with whomever, like a smaller woman. Let her throw her around for a little bit. Show how she can, dominate a match, and then allow her to be in the final 4 or 5 and have the most eliminations. And then you can build towards whatever you want to do after that. Or you just maybe just leave her as a special attraction and you build her up to maybe just really start her run after WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is going to be loaded enough. And you're going to try to shoehorn into a feud, Jade into a feud is going to be interesting. But we'll see what they do. But I would have her come out first and have her have the most eliminations.
Awesome. I like that answer. Alex Johnson over here on chat has a very good question or opinion that we're going to get to in just a brief second after we get our thoughts from Leo, of course, about Rhea and Liv with their story that has been a 2-year story and that could possibly end at WrestleMania. So we're going to get everyone's thoughts on that in a little bit. But Leo, I know you probably changed your pants twice on this one. My guy, Liv Morgan coming back, I know is as exciting as Dana Brooke showing up on TNA on Saturday, but unfortunately it's not Saturday, and unfortunately it's not the Rumble. But how do we feel? And of course, is this year is December? Sorry, January. Yeah, I still think we're in December. January 27th, 2024. The day finally has come where we see Jade Cargill debut.
I feel like she will show up there. Like Byron said, I think she does show up at number 1 and have a great entrance. I I heard what Asa was saying earlier. I think the only problem with her winning the Rumble, it would give backlash, because if you look at WWE, it's mostly just the casual fans, and for the most part, I feel like the casual fans don't really know her, and I feel like it could cause a little bit of controversy just to an extent, because I feel like for the women, they might be a little upset. It's the point where, oh well, we work our butts off every single day for 365 days a year just for somebody who had the first match and then win. That's going to cause a little bit of issues and possibly some turmoil backstage, and you really don't want that. I feel like, the best thing for her to do is to come in as the Iron Woman, have some great eliminations, maybe build a feud with whoever eliminates her, like maybe a Bianca, maybe a Bailey or a Becky, possibly. I think that Becky or Bianca would be like some great feuds. I would love to see her go and have at Mania. But I feel like when you think about the potential winners or whatever the case is, I really think this is Liv Morgan's time to ascend and take her career to the next level. I feel like, she was the last two in the last year's Rumble. Um, I feel like she is one of those wrestlers that needs that one breaking moment to break through the grass ceiling to get her to the next level. And I do think, she is somebody I can see taking her game to the next level. I think, when you look at the past winners we've had, from Asuka to Becky to Rhea to Ronda to Bianca, all those women I just named have been booked dominant, right? They've been booked dominant going into the Royal Rumble matches, to the point where, okay, when this Rumble happens, we know that they're going to win. We know that's going to happen. All of them have been pretty much booked to be at the top of the card at this point of time we haven't really seen like an underdog win the match. If you look at the men's, we have seen some underdogs win. The best example, Rey Mysterio, right? He came in
Yeah.
at number 2 and won. He's a true underdog. And I feel like now is a time to show, at least for the women's, at least to the fans, that you don't have to be the most dominant woman in the division to be able to be at the very top of the card. You don't have to be. You really don't. You don't have to be a Jay Cargill or a Rhea Ripley to be a main eventer. You don't. Somebody like I said, Rey Mysterio defied logic by being a smaller opponent, and what he went on to do, he became a world champion at Mania. So I do think when you think about it, the story is there for Rhea and Liv to have their match at WrestleMania. So I think it is that time for Liv to get her moment.
So now there was a question that came directly from Eric Douglas, and shout out to Eric for this, because this one's directed for you, Leo, because we know
Mhm.
how much of a mark you are for Liv. Leo, I know you would love Liv to win the Rumble, but do you think her court case would hurt that idea? And I'm going to let you answer, and then I'm going to follow up with a rebuttal as well. But I feel like we're going to be on the same page with this, so you might be echoing everything that I might repeat.
Mhm. I feel like there's always a chance to where that can definitely interfere with their plans, because if they give her the Rumble win, she still has to go to court, and then if she ends up having to do time, that's going to put WrestleMania and that match in jeopardy, because I think they pushed it back to, I think, 2 weeks before Elimination Chamber. So I would say, if that's not the case, she doesn't win the Rumble, I do think a better scenario is to have her win Elimination Chamber, because there is history there as well. Because I mean, I was doing some statistics and everything. She has been in every single Elimination Chamber. She's been in every single one of them, and I feel like, if they don't give her the Rumble, will I be a little upset? Kind of, but it is what it is. But I do think if there's some way somehow to get her to WrestleMania, I do think if it's not Rumble, it is definitely Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I don't think I need to even repeat anything you said, because I pretty much would have said the same exact thing word for word in almost the same terminology. But let's get to Alex Johnson's question here. It says, Liv and Rhea have a 2-year story that's perfect to end at WrestleMania. We'll start with you, Asa. Is that the case? Does Liv and Rhea's 2 stories that have intertwined over the past 2 years, should it finally end at WrestleMania 40, the big 40 of all the WrestleManias?
I feel like it's lost, a little steam, and with Liv being out for a while here, and I wouldn't quite say that. I mean, you could put Liv at WrestleMania, but I could just as well see any number of other women facing Rhea at WrestleMania. So I wouldn't say like Liv is locked in at WrestleMania against Rhea. I could see a lot of women against Rhea.
Okay. My guy, Byron, Big B, what are we thinking? Do we feel that Liv and Rhea's 2-year story can finally end at WrestleMania 40? Or, like Asa was just saying, has that time away from the ring and everything that Liv has had kind of made this story not as exciting as it once was?
I think you can tell that story, but it doesn't have to be at WrestleMania. Just quickly, I mean, if you think that WWE is not going to put Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley on WrestleMania, as I've told Leo for months, you got to be out your mind. You're going to get Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax at Elimination Chamber. Rhea Ripley's going to lift Nia Jax and cause a seismic earthquake in Australia. We're going to feel all the way from where I'm at here in Baltimore to Asa in the Carolinas, Leo in Texas, and even up there in Long Island. And
Yes,
we're going to wonder
sir.
what that was. And it
What
was
we go?
Rhea Ripley
Oh my
riptiding
God.
Nia Jax at Elimination Chamber to retain her title. And you're going to get Rhea
Someone fell in my
probably.
house.
You're probably going to
Someone
get Rhea
fell.
beating Becky Lynch at Mania. But If you want to do that story, Backlash is in Paris, France, I believe in May. You could tell that story. Oh, Rhea's beaten everyone. No one's left. Nope, someone is left. Your former tag team partner that you beat up and wrote off TV. Liv Morgan, you get a big pop in Paris. You could have Liv beat Rhea if you want to tell that story. That's just what I'm saying.
Okay. And Leo, we'll round it off with you, buddy. How do you feel about the story, and do you think it's staggered since Liv's
Um,
departure for the wee bed?
I don't think it's staggered. If anything, I feel like the story is still there. If you look at their history, I mean, they were tag team. They were going for the tag team titles. In 2022, going into WrestleMania 38, broke up not too long after that. Rhea joined with the Judgment Day. Liv has a lot of history there. She was the last person to beat Rhea Ripley. She's the only one to beat Rhea Ripley since she joined the Judgment Day, so she's the only one that can say that. Um, Especially she was written off by Rhea Ripley. They were the final two at last year's Rumble, so there is a lot of history there. I feel like that it's one of those scenarios. I feel this might sound crazy, but I feel like if you think of the women's, this might sound crazy, man. I'm pretty sure you
Listen, we know that
and
you're
everybody
crazy,
can say.
so that's okay.
I feel like this has the potential to be the women's version of Shawn Michaels versus Triple H. I know, crazy, right? It is.
Wait, say that again?
So I feel like this could be the women's version of Shawn Michaels versus Triple H.
Now hold that thought.
Shawn-
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Asa, was that a good match for you?
Yeah.
Okay, back to you, Leo.
I
wanted to see if he was gonna put it in the win column or the loss column for Triple H's run. That's all. I just wanted
because if you look
So
at
bad.
Shawn Michaels and Triple H, they were a great pairing, but they were great as rivals. They had so many rivals, so many matches. I get what Byron was saying, and Backlash does fit the bill. I just feel like if you want to end Rhea Ripley's reign, you want it to be special, right? Not saying that if they did it at Backlash, it wouldn't be special, but I feel like the pop would even be bigger if they were to do it at WrestleMania. WrestleMania is where stars are made, and there is a star in the making in Liv Morgan. She has the upper hand. She could have the upper hand because you have the ability to tell a true David versus Goliath storyline, which you never can go wrong with. You can never go wrong with selling storylines like that. And I feel like, if they were to do Becky at WrestleMania, right? I feel like we know what's going to happen. And I feel like, if anything, they need to take the title off of her at WrestleMania. The reason why, because I feel like after Mania, she's going to want to take time off to potentially get married with Buddy Matthews. I feel like
and come to
she's going to want to
AEW.
take time off. Exactly. So I feel like she's going to want to take time off at Mania so you can have the opportunity to build the story between Liv and have that match. I think a better situation for Becky is have her face Rhea Ripley at Elimination Chamber. Have her face her at Elimination Chamber, because I think that's a big match you can do. The crowd will be there for it, and you can get rid of Becky Lynch potentially main event in WrestleMania, and you can have Liv be the person to take the title. Becky is already a made star, right? She doesn't need to be in the championship picture to be considered a top star. She doesn't. She can be in any situation or match and still be a focal point on any given Monday Night Raw, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it. Like it's a fact. She's pretty much done everything that there is to do in the women's division. So giving her the Royal Rumble win again, or a Chamber win, I mean, it's just not. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it.
I do. I understand what you're saying, but let's get to the fun portion of this pod. And of course, now that's all about who's our final four, who's the winner,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, who are our two. We're only going to pick two of our debuts. I'm sorry, 2 surprise returns. We'll just do returns. We wanted to do debuts. We could do debuts the week of the Rumble because I feel like at that point we might have some difference in opinions and it'll be a little bit more of a fun pod. But for this one, we'll do the final 4, the winner, and 2 returns of the Women's Royal Rumble. Leo, we'll start with you. Who's your final 4?
Final 4, Liv, Becky, Jade. Who would I pick this one for? Asuka.
Wow, that's a good
My
one.
final 4.
Okay, okay.
And there's
Who do you got winning it?
Liv. I gotta go Liv.
Of course you do, and I bet you got cream in your pants too. All right,
I don't.
Byron, who's winning it for you? Who's your final 4? And who's winning it for you? And then we're all gonna do our returns at the end.
I got Bailey, Liv, Becky, and Nia Jax as the final 4.
Okay, and who's winning it?
Becky eliminates Nia, get her revenge from their match. Liv is eliminated by Becky. We get Bailey and Becky, the two of the 4 horsewomen. You get Bailey as your Royal Rumble winner.
Wow, Bailey, Liv, and
Nia Snorlax.
Snorlax, Nia Jax is eliminated. What do we got?
Yeah, final 4 is Asuka, Becky, Bailey, and Jade Cargill.
Okay.
Jade Cargill wins.
Wow, you have Jade winning this.
Ace is going all in. He's putting a
Wow,
rocket.
you are really you're putting all your bones on the table on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay. Okay. All righty. So now, Asa, we'll start with you, buddy. Who are your 2 returns for the Royal Rumble?
Surprise return.
Women's.
Say if they're still alive, Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah.
No, I think they're both passed. I think they both have sided with Jesus. Hold on, I'm going to tell you right now, so that way, in case if they've sided with Jesus, you can. Yeah, she died 2014, Mae Young, and Fabulous Moolah. Yeah, dead in 07. So yeah, we're gonna have to definitely pick 2 new people for you because both of them are hanging out with Jesus Christ. Byron's done. Byron's like, you know what? This was the only podcast I needed to do this year. I mean, listen, great picks, classics, great throwbacks. But they also threw that ass back for Jesus Christ. So now they're hanging out in Heaven's Gates over there. So who are your 2 people, or do you want me to come back to you?
All right. I'll say Trish Stratus and Lita.
Okay. All right. Those women are alive. They are alive. They're kicking and they are alive. Byron, do you need a minute? Do you want me to go to Leo?
Go to Leo.
Go to Leo.
I don't want to take any hands.
Go to Leo. He's losing it over there. All right. No worries.
Oh my God, bro. I needed that.
I was like, I thought that was great picks. I love Asa. Asa knows I love him very much. I love you all very much.
God right now, bro.
That was absolutely great picks, but they're great picks to Jesus Christ himself because they're hanging out with him in his Rumble. All right, Leah, my guy, who's returning?
I'd say returns. I'd say Naomi.
Okay.
And Liv. I think those are my 2 returns.
Okay. Safe picks. Big B.
AJ Lee. Go AJ Lee. And I do agree with Leo. Naomi is coming back, but I'm gonna do someone different just to kind of switch it up.
Watch him say Mercedes Moné.
I don't know what's gonna happen. She could show. I mean, at this point, I don't even. I I just don't want to talk about it because we don't know what the hell's going on with that lady.
Wolf, you missed everything. We're on the men's rumble.
I would probably. I do like the Trish Stratus Lita because they do like to bring those legends back. Let's go with. Darn it, that's tough because I want to pick someone that's not. I say AJ Lee, and I'll say
Candice Michelle.
no. Hmm. Can we get Julia? Can we do Julia from Stardom? Can we do
Julia
that?
from Stardom.
Can we do that?
That's a debut though.
That's
Oh, well.
that's more of a debut than
I guess you're right.
yeah.
AJ Lee and
Maybe Michelle.
I think Raquel. I think Raquel shows up. I think Raquel Rodriguez shows up.
Raquel.
She shows
Okay,
up.
that's a
I think she
return.
shows
That's a
up. I think
return.
she
I'll
shows up. I
consider
forgot
that a
about
return.
I think
That's
she
a good
shows
one.
up.
I like that one. I like that one. All right. So I think there's a little bit of a conversation to have with the men's Royal Rumble. This is going to be the final one for us here. And then, of course, we'll do our final four, our winner, and then we'll do our returns. So there's a lot to talk about here. Of course, there's a lot of people that could become the actual number one contender for either the World Heavyweight,
Mm-hmm.
Roman's part-time mustard belt,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
the McDonald's logo, or Victoria's a good one, Naomi's a good one as well, Santos Wolf, thank you. Or Gunther's Intercontinental belt. Now, I know normally it's only the two main ones, but I'm going to throw that one in the mix for this conversation here. Asa, I'm going to start with you, buddy, for this. My guy, with the Royal Rumble for the men's division, of course, we have Drew. We have Chad Gable. We have Jey Uso. We got CM Punk. We got the man that can't even finish a Harry Potter book or a Dr. Seuss book, none other than the American roller coaster himself, Cody Rhodes. How do we feel with going into this men's rumble with the odds stacked against a lot of these number one contenders, and of course a lot more titles up for grabs when becoming the number one contender for WrestleMania?
There's a lot of good options. It's a pretty open field this year. I feel like more than a lot of years. I'm saying Final Four: Drew McIntyre, Gunther, Cody Rhodes, and Ricochet.
Ooh, I like that. I like that one.
And
Ricochet. Okay.
Cody Rhodes wins for the second year in a row.
Second year in the row, Cody Rhodes is winning this one. Big B, a lot of titles up for grabs. Men's division. Of course, we have a lot to talk about with that. But, of course, let's get to the real meat and potatoes of this pod. Who's your Final Four? Who you got winning?
Yeah, the whole SmackDown match still throws me off because I thought maybe one of those guys could be in the Final Four. So I'm going to exclude them for now.
Okay.
Cody, CM Punk, Jey Uso, and I'm going to go with... I mean, I want to say... I think Gunther. I'll say Gunther.
Ooh, I
I'll
like
say
that.
Gunther, Cody, CM Punk, and Jey Uso. Was my
I like
four for
that.
now.
I like that. Who do you got winning though?
Your favorite, CM Punk.
Mr. Pepsi Phil. Mr. Pepsi
I
Phil.
need that reaction when he wins.
Listen, I'll buy a Pepsi. I'll tell you this right now, and I'll tell everybody on stream
Your
right
manager might
now.
like
I'll
that.
buy a Pepsi. I'll buy a 12-ounce bottle of Pepsi. And if
Is it 8 ounce or 12 ounce only? Remember,
12 ounce. I'll buy a 12-ounce bottle. I'll listen, I won't cheap out on him. I'll buy a 12-ounce bottle of Pepsi. And if he wins, till WrestleMania, I'll drink Pepsi. Only Pepsi.
Don't do
I'll
that.
only
You don't have
drink
to do that.
Pepsi.
You don't have to suffer like that.
Listen, I gotta suffer the fact that he's gonna be at WrestleMania. My body's gotta suffer too. So no. I'll I'll pour a little out for the homie, and we'll have a little celebration over here at Last Week of Wrestling over here in Long Island, the greatest island of all islands, as MJF would say. Not me, but MJF says it, so I just echo it. But yeah, so we'll do that. We'll have a bottle of Pepsi. I'll put it on the table. And I'll leave it for everybody to view. But of course, if it happens, I'll drink the Pepsi. If the match starts off that way, then that's the rest of that's gonna be my drink that I drink for the rest of the night. So hopefully Pepsi tastes good. I haven't had a Pepsi in quite a long time. I'm a Coke guy. Coke and ginger ale mostly, but I'm a Coke guy. So all right, Mr. Leo, men's division. Final four. Give it to me.
Cody, Drew, CM Punk, Jey Uso.
What do you got winning?
I'm gonna go on a limb here because I want to see a surprise, something nobody would expect. Jey Uso shockingly wins the Rumble.
That is a sparkling Welch's grape juice. That is sparkling. That's Welch's sparkling champagne. That's non-alcoholic, of course, because I'm on a non-alcoholic diet for the rest of the 2024. But that'll get popped. If I'll buy the bottle of Welch's and I'll buy the bottle of Pepsi, and Jay wins it, Welch's it is. But if fucking Pepsi Phil gets it, sorry, liver.
That's not like a balloon. That's like a balloon. That's a balloon. That's a balloon being deflated.
Yeah, that's a big balloon being deflated. That's like a hot air balloon being deflated. Unbelievable. But of course, let's get now to our returns. Leo, we'll start it with you. Who do we got returning the men's Royal Rumble?
Okay, one of them. Both of these might sound crazy, but I want a big pop for the Rumble. So one, I'm going to go Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona returns.
Wow, that's a big one.
And this
the Indie God.
This one has the ability to happen because, yes, he is signed a contract, but there is a clause in his contract to where he can leave whenever he wants to.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm going to say Jon Moxley shockingly leaves AEW and rejoins WWE.
That's a fucking long
He says this every
shot.
year. He says this every year.
That's a fucking
No, I didn't. I didn't say it last year.
Long shot. So wait. Hold on. Because now we need to talk about this. I'm sorry, Byron and Asa, but you got to give me at least 5 minutes. You're telling me Jonathan Moxley, the man that has been doing numbers over in New Japan, that had an amazing Wrestle Kingdom 18, that's going to have an amazing Battle of the Valley, that's going to probably be at AEW's Revolution. You're telling me that Jonathan Moxley is going to leave Blackpool Combat Club with the Cyclops and the Switzerland Kill God.
Hey, one more thing before you go in front of the
be in WWE.
Dylan, it was a joke, okay? I was just thinking y'all were just gonna say whatever. I knew y'all was gonna say whatever, but I wasn't gonna talk about Jon Moxley. I was just saying to just throw it out there. But I'm gonna say Matt Cardona. And if we're talking returns,
oh no, you're stuck with now Jon Moxley as your second return. No. You put so much faith in it. You're stuck with it now. I'll let you change it episode 2, but for episode 1, you are stuck with Jonathan Moxley as your return. My guy. Woo! Dug yourself a ditch on that one. All right. Big B, who do you got returning? Talk to me.
I'm going to go Big E.
Ooh,
hopefully.
that's a good one.
I'm gonna go Andrade El Idolo.
Andrade El
Oh, wow.
Idolo. I like that
Yes.
one. I like that one. Asa.
I'm gonna go with X-Pac.
Spock.
I've
1, 2,
heard,
3 kid.
I've read he's possibly training for a return for this Rumble. And I'm gonna say the Gobbledygooker.
The Gobbledygooker.
Lord,
Is he dead?
Come on.
Is he dead too?
Chavez
Gobbledygook is
Chavez
alive.
Guerrero.
Okay. He is alive. We can
He's
confirm
alive
he
and
is
well.
alive. Okay.
He's alive and well. All right. I know Leo will be having a really long trouble sleep tonight if he doesn't get out his second pick. So Leo, we'll let it slide. John Moxley is your backup plan, but who do you
I'm gonna
got
say
as your number 2?
since it's Tampa, Florida,
Tampa, Florida.
Gobbledygooker.
it's his hometown.
Mm.
Big E returns after
Let's
being
go.
away for almost 3 years
Yeah,
from the WWE.
that'd be nice. That would be really nice. I think all of us would be really happy to see Big E
Yeah.
come back, even if it's only for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Just seeing his presence is more than enough. And I hope we get to see it. Now, let's play a fun little game that I kind of just created on my way home from work today. And I think that's going to be really fun. Who's our announcing team? Now, the rules of this one
Okay.
are going to go as this. We could have the standard one, Michael Cole and either Corey Graves or that other jabroni. What's his name?
Yeah.
Kevin Patrick.
Kevin
Kevin-
Ashtrick.
Kevin
He ain't,
Patrick.
he ain't, he,
Kevin Assboy.
get him out of here.
He's
Get him
Yeah.
off commentary team.
So Kevin Assboy or Corey Graves. Or you could throw a classic one in there, like a JR and Jerry Lawler. One
I
time
don't think
only.
Jared can happen though.
Well, you never know, but this is called a fun game. Okay, so don't be a fucking shit starter. All right,
No.
it's a fun game. Or you can also just pick one that seems the most obvious. So you could pick either the obvious or fun one. Asa, we'll start with you, and it doesn't have to just be Jerry Lawler and JR. You could pick anyone from any era. Hell, you could pick Howard Finkel as the fucking guy ring announcer. All right. So who is at your 2024 Royal Rumble announcing team?
I'm gonna pick probably my favorite WWF announced team, and I'm gonna go with Vince McMahon and the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh Lord, no.
Okay. I
He-
like it.
he
I
was-
like it. It's a good team. It's a good team. It's a good team. Byron.
I'm gonna go with the best color commentator, in my opinion, Bobby the Brain Heenan,
hmm
and I'm gonna go with my favorite play-by-play as of late, outside of myself, Mauro Ranallo, the voice of Black and Gold. Fantastic.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Leo.
Mauro Ranallo is one. I already got to get him out of there. Pat McAfee. Because I love more commentary. And
Yeah.
then I would say Michael Cole is my 3.
Okay. Ooh, you got 3 on there. Okay. I like that. I like that. I think this was a fun episode. What do you guys think? How did you guys enjoy the episode?
I
a lot of
love
fun
it.
Very
booking.
much. Yeah.
Right? Nice fun booking, some nice fun choices and stuff like that we got
Dug
to
some people out the grave. You know,
dug some people out the grave. Mae Young, Fabulous Moolah. We knocked on heaven's door for them, but they didn't come opening up. That's okay. I think this was a great first episode. Booker T, Michael Cole, surprise guest commentator, Pat McAfee. That's a classic one. Booker T, Michael Cole together is a great one.
I'm not
Yeah.
a fan of Booker T on commentary
Honestly,
like
I
that.
would love to see Teddy Long back announcing just a match.
What about R-Truth?
He could announce the Judgment Day matches.
I'd love to hear Lillian Garcia as the ring
Yeah,
announcer.
Lillian Garcia come back. That would be great. But yeah, best GM is Teddy Long. Absolutely. Teddy Long is
Oh, easily.
now hold on, player. Like that shit is great. That shit
Every
is
week on
great.
SmackDown. Every week on SmackDown, it's like anybody who annoyed him, you finna go 1-on-1 with the
Undertaker. And my favorite reaction to you going 1-on-1 with the Undertaker is with JBL, because JBL was talking so much shit, and Teddy was just smiling and nodding and smiling and nodding, and he goes, "You know what? I got something for you. I do. I got something for you, bitch ass. Guess who's going 1-on-1 with the Undertaker? It's you." And he was like, "What?
Literally him.
I just had a match. Wait a second.
Literally him.
What do you mean?"
And who was it? It was literally him and Booker T who had the best reactions when they got put in a match with the Undertaker. If he wasn't putting you in a match with the Undertaker, you finna go into that ring and you finna have a handicap match.
Yeah, the handicap
Or
matches.
a tag team match.
Yeah,
Bro,
Teddy Long.
just goated.
Love Teddy Long. A goat. A true goat in the industry. He used to be a referee, Teddy Long, and then he became a general manager. As crazy as that is. That's a small world, but that's how the cookie crumbles. But how do we like the first episode? Thoughts? Some quick thoughts for everybody?
10 thumbs way up.
10 thumbs. Okay.
Awesome.
Awesome show.
Very
Asa?
fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay. So, of course,
I hope
this
the
is
viewers
episode.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the viewers enjoyed it as well, hopefully. Of course, make sure you leave a like, a comment, and share with all of the other wrestling community, so that way all of us gets to have a great, great time talking about none other than the greatest sport of them all, the best physical sport of them all, wrestling, out here in the internet, into the interwebs as well. Yeah, we're definitely gonna be doing this again. We're gonna be doing this the week of the Rumble. So the first Tuesday, the last Tuesday of the month is going to be where we're going to finally make a statement on our final predictions for all the matches that are set and ready to go for the Royal Rumble. Yes, we know SmackDown that Friday might add a match or two, but for the time being, just like how we did this one, we're going to just do the ones that we know for sure are 100% confirmed. And of course, that's when we're going to do a lot more of the in-depth and kind of figuring out how we got to that story, booking the actual Royal Rumble itself, winners, and so much more. And we're going to have an intro and an outro. I know this one we didn't. It was a little bit more of a quickly thrown together type of thing. I did have some time. I could have made one. I'm not going to lie. That is on me. That is on me. But we're going to make a cool intro. We're going to make a cool outro. We're going to get some nice little video cards for segments and everything too. So that way, when it's time to do the fantasy booking, we'll do some little video card segments and everything. We're gonna get really fancy and fun with everything. And of course, I think Wolf will be joining us for the next one and everything. I think tonight he's hanging out with Tony Khan and learning about what the winners. Well, of course, that's his wife. And that $500,000 grand piano that he has sitting always and just never fucking played. I can't believe he never uses that damn thing. But you know, probably trying on the TBS belt or something. Who knows? But nonetheless, you know, he'll probably be joining us on the next one. I know that he had a couple of loose ends, $1 million deals he had to figure out or whatnot with TK. So, you know, probably telling him to stay off Twitter and everything. So hopefully TK listens and everything. But nonetheless,
He won't.
Thank you guys so much. And of course, thank you to my amazing gang of guests. Of course, if you guys don't mind just hanging back so that way we can kind of talk about some things quickly, briefly, so I can let you all go. It's only 9 o'clock, 9:30, 9:13.
8:13 over here.
Yeah, wow, 9:13. My God, it's not that late. I'm pretty shocked.
It's 8 o'clock over here.
I'm not normally shows end about 10ish, close to 11 for all of us. So it's weird that we're ending very early. But thank you guys so much. Of course, thank you all so much as well. And we will see you, of course, tomorrow for the predictions episode of TNA, baby. That's right. TNA Saturday, me and Leo, we're so excited. I think out of all of the people that are watching this shit on Saturday, me and Leo are the most excited for TNA.
Honestly,
Yeah, we are probably the only ones that are going to be so excited for TNA on
honestly,
Saturday. I can't wait. I can't wait to have Byron. I can't wait to have Jugs. Can't wait to have Asa and Kay that I believe is coming on. Right? You guys coming on for Saturday?
Yep.
Excellent. I'm so excited. That's gonna be great. Of course, Wolf will be back in action. Packed house, packed team, the best of the best. Listen, Long Island only picks the best of the best. And I searched the 7 Seas and all 49 states for the greatest podcasters. And I found them. All right. I found them. I said, listen, come to the better side. Come to the greatest island of all island side. First, a little hesitant. They were like, I don't know. Maybe not. I was like, listen, we got cream cheese. You know what I mean? We got Olive Garden. We got real fucking Italian food. And they're like, okay, we'll come over. And they haven't left. And you know what? It's been a fucking pleasure. And I've been so happy to have them every single time we do anything here over on Last Week in Wrestling podcast. But tomorrow, we got a whole packed house. Saturday, huge packed house because, of course, it's TNA. And then Sunday night is not only a podcast, but I know Asa has something to plug for Sunday as well. Sunday night, we are going to be doing, of course, the review of TNA Hard to Kill pay-per-view and maybe a question or two to kind of wrap off that actual podcast. But Asa and, of course, Byron and Lee, if you have anything coming, this is the time where you guys get to plug all your stuff. Asa, talk to the good people about Sunday.
Yeah, good people. Sunday afternoon, 12:45 on our YouTube channel, No Bones About Wrestling, right there. We are doing a retro wrestling watch along. Your hosts are me, my wife Kay, and of course Dylan. And we are watching Royal Rumble 1999. And so if you don't know who wins, don't look it up because it's a fun one. So come at 12:45. We're gonna talk about the card for a little bit, and then we're gonna start the show right at 1:00. It's available on Peacock. So join us 12:45 on YouTube on Sunday.
That's awesome. And like Asa said, load your cocks the way Leo's gonna load his for fucking Saturday if Dana Brooke comes out, and get ready to fucking splurge. Because, of course, we're going to be having a retro watch along like no other. Byron, do you have anything you need to say to the good people?
No, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, everybody in the chat. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Flex Zone. I'll be here for TNA Impact on Saturday. Hard to Kill.
That's right. Big B said, you know what? I'm getting tired of AEW, getting tired of WWE. You guys are talking about this TNA this, TNA that, Dana Brooke this, Dana Brooke that. So you know what? I'm going to come and fucking watch this show and see what it's all about. So his money's going to be well spent or free. And we're going to make sure that he has a grand old time like the rest of everybody coming on this Saturday. Leo, talk to the good people. Tell them what's going on your channel.
Well, currently I'm at 748 subscribers. We're on the road to 750. Let's get 2 subscribers before Hard to Kill this Saturday. I know we can do that. But I know I did post a couple of videos as far as TNA goes, as far as do I think Dana Brooke will show up. That video just went up this morning. I'm doing a quiz video tomorrow, testing my knowledge as a wrestling fan to see if I can name every TNA World Champion. So that will be coming up tomorrow, and then I'll be back here tomorrow night for predictions, and then Saturday for Hard to Kill, the actual pay-per-view. So I'm very excited.
Oh man, I can't wait. I'm so excited too. I haven't stopped grinning cheek to cheek.
I really
have
haven't.
TNA Hard to Kill. You know what I mean? It's been an absolute great time. But of course, that is going to be it for us here. Thank you, of course, Santos, Wolf, Chris, 202 Degrees, Alex Johnson, Jerry Doss, Eric Douglas, and of course, none other than, I know there's a new name in here, Wrestling Bros. What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for hanging out with us. And thank you all for all the love. Make sure you follow all of us. Make sure you give us likes, the comments, the shares, and all of that, because that does help. I'm telling you now, that makes us feel better about sitting here talking to our internet friends that we hope are real, right? You guys are real? You guys are real? Okay. And of course, making this awesome, awesome content each and every week that we do here. So definitely make sure you guys are tuned in, locked in. Make sure you turn on post notifications for all of us here each and every week, because we bring you guys only the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop, as Macho Man would say, of the content for everybody's eyes and ears to listen to. And then we will see you tomorrow for TNA Hard to Kill predictions. That is probably going to start at 7:30. I don't think it's going to start at 7. I think it's going to start at 7:30. It is subject to change. Right now it's set for 7, I believe. But if not, it might start at 7:30 instead. And we're just going to run down the card and everything like that. And don't be shocked if you see me and Leo's beautiful faces just grinning ear to ear, talking about every goddamn match that's about to happen. All right. Good night, guys. Thank you so much. Let's run the numbers up, get everybody up there, and we'll see you guys next time.